going to unpack a few of the key parts of that example in just a bit, but this video hopefully will help you answer the question, can you play slide in standard tuning without any special setup? It's so easy to get caught up in gear when you're learning guitar, and I'm often asked questions like, do I need a resonator guitar to play slide? If I'm going to play slide on my guitar, should I raise the action? Or I'll hear something like this. I'd love to play slide, but I don't want to retune my guitar to an open tuning. I've already got my hands full with standard tuning. I completely get that, but let's tackle that first question. You absolutely can play great slide on an acoustic guitar. No resonator required. Look at what Rory Block can do on her acoustic. Ultimately, you should buy a resonator for one reason and one reason only, the sound. Okay, if you just want one, that definitely counts as a good reason in my book. But you won't get the sound of a resonator on a standard acoustic guitar, that's for sure. Okay, so you can play slide on your acoustic, but do you need a special setup? Should you raise the action on your guitar? Let's unpack this as we dive into the first riff from the opening example. Whether your guitar has low action like this one or high action, it really doesn't matter, because when you're playing with a slide, what you're looking for is the ability to glide over the frets. And you want to do that with as little pressure as possible. We don't want too heavy pressure so we don't hear us actually bumping and sliding over the frets. That's not what we're listening for, right? And we don't want it to be too soft that we get all of that nasty buzz happening. We're looking for that Goldilocks amount of pressure, that just right amount of pressure in the middle. And that's something that we work on in the 5 simple steps to better slide guitar. And it's something that we're going to put to the test in our opening riff. So our riff is dead bass, meaning that we're going to just pump out on the quarter notes with the thumb, the open 6th string, right? We're going to add some thumb picking in between the beats toward the end of the measure, but we'll get to that. First, we got to set it up with these brush ups on the end of 1 and the end of 2. And that's just playing through the top 3 strings. And I'm holding the 1st fret of the 3rd string and then the open 2nd and 3rd. Now on the end of 3, I'm going to pump the bass, right? Kind of back to back there, right? And that's where I'm going to start my slide riff. Really, it's just one note with the slide. I'm going to the 3rd fret and I'm bending. I like to think of this as bending because I'm starting at the 3rd fret, and actually I'm starting a little bit before the 3rd fret, so I'm a little bit flat there, but that's okay. We get to do that with a slide and kind of, get in between the frets. So I'm doing that and then sliding past the 3rd fret, right? And then I'm just finishing that up, that measure up, with a hammer on from the open 5th string to the 2nd fret of the 5th string. All right, now what we're looking for here, and the reason why I think that this riff will tell on you if you need to tune up your technique a little bit, is that we're not trying to press down so hard with the slide that we hear as if we're sliding over the fret. Hear how you can hear that fret being crossed? That's not what we're looking for. And you can do that with a slide, but that's not what we want to do. That's too hard. What we're looking for is this uninterrupted slide. But now we've got some buzzing happening there. So we've got too light of a pressure. And that's really easy to do when you're playing, especially on the 6th string, and especially in this area of the fretboard, because at least with my action, the way it's set up, and I like to play it, and we play a lot in this area, so it needs to be comfortable. But the thing is, like, that 6th string is really close to the fret there. So it takes a super light touch to glide over that fret without getting the actual fret knock in there, right? We're not looking at that. We're not trying to step over the frets. We're trying to slide. And we also don't want too little pressure, right? So this is a good little riff. You can practice it, loop it over and over. That was too light. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Loop this over and over, and that one note will help tell on you if you've got the right pressure or not. For many slide players, getting a dedicated slide guitar or adjusting the action of your acoustic can be just that little bit of friction that keeps you from playing slide altogether, and I don't want that to happen to you. And while the world of open tunings can be extremely fun, and just like a resonator, there's really nothing like it, but a good first step into slide for many players is to head into it and leverage your comfort zone. And for most of us, that's standard tuning. Let's break down a delta sounding slide lick in standard tuning. The 12th fret is a great area to work in when it comes to playing slide, and that's whether you're in an open tuning or in standard tuning like this next example. The first measure, we're going to slide into the 12th fret from about the 11th fret, and I'm going to pluck the top two strings together. My index finger is going to play the second string, and my middle finger is going to pluck the first string. And that's the rhythm while keeping this dead bass going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 8. Now you can also vary when you slide in, and you can change up the rhythm of a lick like this very easily. Just hang out, get a good tone going at the 12th fret, and have some fun. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So there I added a lot more slide ins. It's a great way to put your own sound on things, right? But then we're going to answer this with a lick in the second measure that focuses more on single notes. All right, so what we're doing here, we're keeping the bass going, but let's focus on the notes. We're going to slide back down from the 12th fret to the 11th on the first string, then back up on the second string to the 12th fret, and then just as we approach that B on the second string, we're going to roll through and pluck the E on the first string. So we've got real cool thing, kind of like a rubber band stretching and coming back, right? Then what we're going to do is slide up to the 13th fret on the third string before resolving this lick back on the E third string. So, and remember, keep that bass going. Maybe you like the sound of this lick, maybe you don't, but it works. So if you either A, don't want to retune your guitar just to play one song, or aren't familiar enough with open tunings, then you can absolutely play slide in standard tuning. In fact, some of my favorite standard tune blues licks can get a fresh feel just by working in the slide, like we did in bars 11 and 12 of the example. Let's unpack those. Let's work through this with the fretted notes, and then we'll bring on the slide. We start with an open 6th string, open 1st string, then we're going to play a triplet between the B at the 4th fret 3rd string and the D on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So 1 and 2 triplet. Then the next sequence of notes is going to be an 8th note on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and then down to the 3rd fret 2nd string, and then down to that B. Now this is going to be an 8th note followed by 2 16th notes. So those two are quicker together, right? And then we're going to drop down and do that same rhythm, but the 8th note starts here on the A 3rd string 2nd fret, and then open 3rd string, and then the E note on the 4th string 2nd fret. So, right, we've got a longer and then quick, quick. All right, so here's what this sounds like played fretted. All right, really classic blues lick. And now let's bring on the slide. I'm going to play the slide really everywhere I was fretting and using my fingers, and it takes on a new life. Now to answer that, we're starting out the same, then we're going to bring the slide on and slide down from the B, that 4th fret note, on the 3rd string, down to the A, then we're going to pluck open 3rd, and then walk down from the E to the D sharp there as part of a B7 chord. We're not playing the full B7 chord, but just a piece of it, and then we end with a couple of brush ups there. So the entire lick sounds like this. The The thing is, good slide technique is what enables all of this. Whether it's playing on a low action acoustic guitar or playing on a resonator, it pays to have good, clean technique. So check out this free resource, 5 Simple Steps to Better Slide Guitar. That will help you on your way. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, practice smart and play on.